there's enough to talk about with these first two games between the Islanders and the Lightning. The Islanders get the split on the road, which they did not do. Yeah, it was not technically on the road last year, but they didn't get that split last year. They lost the first two games, and this year they get it. And this has been the recipe for them: is go out, split, and come home. And tonight is the biggest game this building has seen in 28 years, and I'm excited. I'm already a little nervous. Heart's pounding a little bit, but Tyler, it's it's gonna be a it's gonna be rocking in that place tonight, and I'm very jealous of all 12,900 people that are gonna rock the barn tonight.
Yeah, I cannot wait to watch this game tonight. And the first two games of this series has been really everything you'd want out of a playoff series. I mean, you knew, was it 8 seconds into the first game and there was already like a little scrum, and I was watching that and I was like, all right, this is gonna be an absolute war. And yeah, you said that the Islanders did what they've done the first two series. They went out and won one game on the road, which is what you got to do. They've got the home ice now. We've talked about it the entire playoffs. The Coliseum is one of the hardest places to go in and play. And I mean, Varlamov got a little scared there for you guys a second. I didn't know if he was going to come back in game two, but good thing he did come back because he's looked outstanding so far. I mean, I think the Islanders, they've been playing at the best of their abilities the last few games, and I think it's also coinciding with this kind of reemergence of Matt Barzal. He wasn't really scoring at the start of the playoffs, and I mean, it's no secret that if the Islanders didn't go against a goalie named Tristan Jarry in the first round, we could be talking about the Penguins right now and not the Islanders. But they won, and that's all that matters. And halfway through that Bruins series, something lit under Matt Barzal because now he's been on an absolute goal-scoring tear. And I think the Islanders are playing the best that they maybe played at all season, which is the exact point that you want to be doing that.
Tyler, yeah, you hit it right on the head. Matt Barzal, goal in game one and a goal in game two, and he's been playing phenomenal ever since they played Boston. But like both of you pointed out, the key to this series and every series that the Islanders have played in so far is getting that game in one of the first two games when they're playing at someone else's arena. That is huge. That gives them all the momentum in the world coming back to the Coliseum. Yeah, they lost game two 4-2. A game that honestly they could have came back and won. They had plenty of chances to come back and win that game, but they still have momentum coming into the Coliseum. That place is going to be rocking tonight, Chris. I've never been to the Coliseum, so I'm not sure. I see on TV. I can imagine the atmosphere that the fans bring in that when it's a packed house, how it is. But I can only imagine that they're going to be blowing that place up tonight in every way possible, and the fans are going to be in it from the second the puck drops till the very last whistle, and probably before that and after that as well. So I'm excited to see how this team gets energized from the crowd and just from being at their home arena.
Yeah, it's gonna be loud in there. There's no doubt about that. I can only imagine the line outside Borelli's right now to get in there too. It's gonna be loud at every bar and restaurant and every house in the 60-mile range of that building, on the 90, 94, whatever it is, to my house, because my house will be rocking too. The loudest I've ever been there for was regular season game in March of 2019. They clinched the playoffs with a win against Buffalo, and they won 5-1. So the whole third period was just a party. I mean, it was singing and dancing and just, I mean, it was literally like a wedding. It was unbelievable. It was like all these people celebrating something that it seemed like they had accomplished, but actually all they did was sit there and pay for the tickets. And if they win tonight, I don't even know. I can't even imagine. I already made all my family members promise that if the Islanders win 7 more games, they will take the day off. We will go to Long Island for the PARADE. I'm not allowed to say the word. Don't want to jinx it, but everybody's going if they make it that far. So I'm ready, man. I am ready. And it should be a good game tonight. Game one, I thought, was honestly the game the Islanders want to play every time they step on the ice. They keep this game 0-0 for as long as possible. Barzal gets a break, puts it in between Vasilevsky's leg, give him a 1-0 lead. Kulak with a rocket gives them the 2-0 lead, and they hang on for dear life after that. That's the Barry Trotz game, and they got away from that a little bit in game two. Now, there was one goal where there were 6 players on the ice, and the refs stink, and we can talk about that for an eternity. But the Islanders benefited from potentially the worst call I've ever seen in my life, so it's hard to complain necessarily. But when you win game one, the split hurts, and when you lose game one, the split feels like the biggest victory in the world. When in reality, it's just a split, and it's what everybody would have taken coming in, and I think you have to be happy about it. The one thing that I am, you know, questioning in terms of the NHL, and they do change the refs every game, but how does the New York Saints guy, the same ref as Game 5, whose name I can't remember right now, I'll look it up in a second. The Game 5 ref against the Bruins, ref Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, or the Stanley Cup semifinals. I'm sorry, because it was embarrassing for the league to have the New York Saints thing. And as much as I loved like the petty people in the parking lot playing when the Saints go marching in on the trombone, which was hysterical, it was kind of a crappy look for the league, right? To have an entire fan base unite against the other team's coach and your officials and play a ridiculous song over and over and over again and chanting New York Saints. It was not the best look for the league. I think we can admit that. And to have that guy not only officiate another game for the rest of the season, but officiate an Islander game makes no sense. And I feel like that's not being talked about, when what is being talked about, and it's fair, is Pelech should have gotten a penalty, not Braden Point. And they had 7 guys on the ice when they scored the goal. I don't know how the NHL keeps doing this over and over and over again. You really only need like 2 officials to like be competent for the next like 4 weeks, and you're good. And they still can't figure that out. I don't know what you thought about everything that happened on, I guess that would have been Tuesday, Tyler, but I thought it was embarrassing again because it feels like they don't learn their lesson ever.
Yeah, I believe the official's name is Francois Saint Laurent. Is that
That's
the
correct.
guy? Okay,
I
yeah.
knew it was extremely French, and if
Yeah.
I tried without looking it up, I wasn't going to get it right.
But yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, the Pelech on point play, that was a pretty obvious. It should not have been a penalty on Braden Point. I don't know how the official can. I believe he was the official trailing the play, but I don't know how you can see Pelech fully extend both of his arms in a cross-checks point right into Varlamov, and he calls a penalty on point. And yeah, I mean, the NHL has plenty of good officials, and I get if you want to continue having this guy officiate games in the playoffs, but the least you can do is not have him officiate that same team that he just had such a terrible game against, or reffing one of their games just a few days before. So I agree. It seems like the NHL is just kind of shooting themselves in the foot here. It's such an easy thing to just avoid, and they seemingly can't do it. Like it's such an easy thing to fix. Just don't have this one ref officiate this one team's game. You have so many refs.
The fact that Braden Point got a penalty for getting pushed, cross-checked into Varlamov is crazy. It makes no sense to me, and that's not even the first time, or it's not the 20th time that we've seen someone getting cross-checked from behind into a goaltender or tripped while he's on a breakaway into the goaltender and get a penalty. Like, how are these refs making a call like that in such a crucial game that is, I'm not going to say must win, but I mean, every game is must win, I would say, this deep into the playoffs. So to make that call, it's just embarrassing. And I understand the ref situation. I understand the NHL situation, having the refs ref the same team. Maybe it's something they have to do, or maybe it's like they're obligated to ref a certain team a certain number of times when it gets this late in the playoffs. But if that's the case, they need to tighten it up, man. They need to learn what's a penalty on who and what's not, and like to be making that call on such a crucial time, man. It's just not a good look, Chris. Like you said, I don't have a problem with the ref in the Islanders games. That doesn't bother me, but tighten it up, clean it up, and like make the right calls. That's all people want to see, and it's just constant inconsistency. Like you said, the goal with 6 men on the ice. Like, how does that happen? Stuff like that can't be happening this late in the playoffs, no less the first game of the season. So I don't have an issue with it, but just clean it up and make the right calls. That's all you can ask for.